Technologies made it easier for Noor to stay in touch with other displaced Rohingya. Many of his relatives have gone missing. Some died while trying to flee persecution in Myanmar. Afraid and anxious for those left behind, videos and pictures of the violence in Myanmar go around quickly. He's a community leader in the Irkanabad neighborhood of Pakistan's largest city, Karachi. Named after a coastal region in Myanmar, Irkanabad is home to tens of thousands of stateless Rohingya. More were forced from their homes after every bout of violent crackdown against the Muslim minority. For the state-sanctioned violence they face, the UN calls Rohingya one of the world's most persecuted minorities. And their suffering doesn't end when they leave Myanmar. Some of these children are the third generation of those displaced between the 1960s to the 1980s. But they're still considered undocumented immigrants despite being born in Pakistan. Among them is Habiba, who wants to become a doctor. But she's been denied even the entrance test to medical schools because she does not have the prerequisite national identity card.
I aced my intermediate exams and want to become a doctor, but I don't have the papers as my father's ID is blocked. My dream is to become a doctor so that I can serve my community as they are unable to get good medical care because of poverty.
She was lucky as many don't even get this far. This football field in the squalid conditions of Irkanabad is a glaring example of their plight. A planned space for recreation and opportunity is now a garbage dump. The Rohingya in this community are forced to live like this. What I cannot show you is the stench around us. The children here have very few prospects, and even when they grow up, they have no place to call home.
What is our crime that we can't get the national identity card? Our movement is restricted. We can't take our women to hospitals for childbirth. We can't do business and even can't enter the sea for fishing to earn a living. And due to the wrong policies of the government, our people are left with few choices other than crime and subversive activities, as they have to feed themselves and their families.
Pakistan's government is facing criticism from the community for what they see as its contradictory policies. Instead of implementing the existing law that every child born here has a right to citizenship, more initiatives are announced every few years, which means the Rohingya remain stateless.
The two most important things that the Pakistani government needs to be doing to deal with issues of statelessness is, number one, implementation of the birthright citizenship which is provided in the Citizenship Act. And number two is to ensure that rules like the alien registration rules are not made which are discriminatory and which ensure that statelessness is something that remains generational and does not end.
Rohingya say they're hard-working people and not a burden on the state. Their leaders want the government to provide them identification for all the tax revenue they generate. Young men sneak on fishing boats to earn a living. If they're caught, they could face years in prison. A risk worth taking, they say, to put food on the table. Sama bin Javed, Al Jazeera, Irkanabad, southern Pakistan.